You know, when we first started this whole Summer of Fun thing, I never ever thought the ending of it would end with an extreme drummer like our friend Charlie. I would love for you guys to stick around and enjoy this fantastic interview that my partner has set up for us. So sit back, plug in, man up, put that fucking heavy metal music on, and rock out for fucking Anthrax, bitches!
Welcome to the end of the Summer of Fun right here on the Loki and Jabroni show. My name's Jabroni, enjoying his dinner right now. This is Loki.
What's up?
My new co-host for today, Head. I wish I could ask you questions, Head, but it doesn't seem like you'll answer me. You only answer Al Snow. What's the story here today, Head? Okay, we get it. So, guys,
It's your song, Silent Type.
2 nights ago, we were at Pistol Pete's Bar and Grill in Norwich, Connecticut, watching the fight of the century. We'll talk about that fight in just a minute.
Yes.
We got to hang out with WWE Hall of Famer Cowboy Bob Orton. We got to hang out with Al Snow, who couldn't have been classier, nicer, more well-spoken. He was just the bomb. And Marty Jannetty was there, too. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Marty came to party.
And Marty seemed like he was partying for 4 hours before he got there, and that's where I'm going to leave that. On the fight, not a bad fight. Not a great fight, but not a bad fight.
So here's my take on it. I think we all knew the outcome going into this. There's no question about it.
Boxing rules, Mayweather's going to win.
Right. He was 49-0.
Yep.
Going into this. That tells you something.
Right.
Apparently, this guy knows what he's doing in the square in the ring. So,
yeah.
That being said, the world is wow, man, is torn right down the fucking middle, dude. Right down the middle. He couldn't last 20 minutes in the ring. Blah 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 blah. Yes.
You know what the other side is saying? That a newcomer took the supposed best in the world for 10 rounds. And landed more punches than his previous 6 opponents. That's what the world is saying.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Floyd Mayweather is a very intelligent man. Can we agree to this?
I will buy that, yes.
He knows how to sell himself to the T. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, he went to go bet on himself.
Modern day Don King.
$400,000 and got caught.
Wow. No shit.
So, yes, he is an intelligent motherfucker, but stupid at the same time. My point is this. How happy would you have been if Conor went down 3rd round?
For me, it would have been expected. I didn't expect him to go. You all heard it last week here. Mm-hmm. If you joined us on the live feed Saturday night here on Facebook only, if you're live streaming with us, I said it. If he lasts more than 5 rounds, I'm surprised.
Right.
If he'd have got dropped in the first 5, I'd have been shocked, but I wouldn't have been shocked. This is a guy that Mayweather puts people away early, and when he doesn't, he does enough to win. He does exactly what he's supposed to do. So had Conor gotten dropped in the 3rd, I'm not so surprised.
But then the MMA looks stupid. He looked stupid. He talked all that shit. Think about it. They walked away respecting each other.
I think they respected each other before the fight. You have to believe that.
Well, I'm going to say 50-50, yeah, because Conor goes in hating you. I don't care what anybody says. That's the only way you can.
But that's the fighter mindset. I mean,
absolutely. That's the only way you can
look at our friend Blair. He shared an ambulance after Friday night's loss with the guy that just beat him.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a certain brotherhood you have. Yes, you don't have to like that guy, but you certainly respect him. I think there was respect.
My point is Conor's never respected anybody to that extent. To the point where he literally face trashed him and then was huggy brother with him like towards the end. And then, let me say this. That being said, MMA came out looking strong because here's a first comer who landed more punches on average than anybody else that Mayweather has ever fought.
By 21.
He lasted longer than anybody else could. My problem with this is come the 10th round, they're saying that Conor's not throwing the same amount of punches. He still is.
They said he wasn't intelligently defending himself, which I have never. I'm standing next to Al Snow watching this fight, and he's like, he's got to get his hands up. He's got to get his hands up. He has to get his hands up. And I'm looking at Al. I'm like, well, what if he's pulling a rope-a-dope? He goes, no, they're going to stop this fight.
Yeah.
30 seconds later, fight stop.
Well,
Al Snow was correct because he didn't
have to stop it.
he didn't put his hands up. He didn't do the right thing at the right time. That's the be all end all. I got to give Floyd Mayweather a lot of credit.
At that point, he's tired. He's already went through the motions. He knows everything that's going on. You know, he's
trained for a different kind of fight where you take him out early.
Right.
Well, yeah, we all talked about that.
He's not used to the go the distance, outclass your opponent, and we've talked about this many times.
You know, Mayweather poured on the heat exactly when he needed to, man. Exactly when.
Oh yeah, and it was in the later rounds.
He was a strategist. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's a master of the sweet science. I do got to give it to Conor because Conor did fight his fucking ass off.
Oh yeah.
As far as a non-boxer, which let's be honest, he's not a non-boxer. He started his career off as a boxer, and he was terrible at it. He went into the MMA and he became better at it because he was able to.
I was talking with a friend this week about the fight, and I was saying, like, if Conor wanted to do it right, he should have done at least a year, 2 years of fighting with other boxers.
He had 9 months. You know what? I'll buy that. Absolutely.
Actually getting into some other fights and get the feel of it. And
I mean, even the uppercut he hit him with, it didn't really affect Mayweather. I mean,
I have to say that Matt Bissett, if any of you are friends with Matt Bissett, the Mangler MMA fighter, said it best. Using 12-ounce boxing gloves. If you're using 7-ounce MMA gloves, the result of that punch might have been different.
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
Once again, completely different worlds. I'm going to throw Conor McGregor a lot of credit. You lasted longer than people gave you credit for. Here's where I'm going to throw a little shade on Floyd. You let a newcomer take you 10 rounds. But let's go back to something Al said. Al Snow, once again, he was at the party with us and that other guy. He said, in a perfect world, Mayweather knocks him out early. But this is a business, and Mayweather's going to let him dance for rounds.
Exactly my point.
I have to buy into what Al said.
He gave you money. He gave you your fight's worth. People were saying, this better be the fight of the century. I'm paying $50 to get in certain fucking places. Businesses paid $1,000 to have that fucking fight.
There's a reason the deck didn't have it because of the size and their capacity. They wanted $10,000 to even show the fight there.
Yeah.
And Tim said no.
No, I don't blame him, dude. It's the same thing like at Tokyo. There was nobody there until after the fight. And it was like, you know.
I can imagine. Arugas was playing it for a $5 cover. Pistol Pete's, where we were, was a $10 cover. Bars across the state, I'm watching posts come up where, hey, $20 gets you in to see the fight. I can remember going to Tyson fights, Tyson Holyfield, where we bit Holyfield's ear off. We got in for nothing. All we had to do was buy food and beer, and we were in.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a heads up, guys, at 7 o'clock, my Facebook is going dark. I will not be able to take your questions, comments, or concerns until after the interview, because on this gimmick phone right here, once again, 7 p.m., 15 minutes from now, Charlie Benante from Anthrax. This is going to be fun.
I'll switch over to Facebook. Right now I'm on Twitter.
Okay. I like Twitter. I like those people. They come up with some good questions.
They do.
And Ed, as always, has the YouTube right there in front of him. If you have, no, he doesn't. Okay, well, he doesn't have YouTube. But if you have anything, go to @LokiandJabroni.com or @Portugal Viking. That's this guy right here. He's going to get all your questions. Do it now. Jim Malamir, BeerCheeseFood.com, says D&G, where he works, had it with free pizza and the best bartender ever. And I'm going to give him credit. They probably did have the best bartender ever. Ours was a little slow, although Angie had a lot to work with that night. But we did have a great drink runner. With Eddie not being there, producer emeritus Eric B. Mitchell was great in running to get the beers and the drinks, and we had a couple Crown Apples and cranberries. D&G, you know what? Next big fight, Jim, we're there, man. We'll bring the rig. Yeah. We'll tell your friends. We will bring the party. All you got to do is comp our beer tab. And that's that.
Loved it.
Jim's waiting for this interview.
I was going to say, dude, it wasn't even that bad. I got two things on my mind real
quick. I got
quick.
nothing other than Charlie Benante. Seriously.
Number one, I'm wearing the EL hat for my boy. He's an Eastline Viking yet again.
Nice.
High school team, made the freshman team. He is good enough where I think he'll be playing JV before the end of the season.
Nice.
That's just my call right there.
Big ups to Caleb.
Outside linebacker is going to be a starting position. They are also going to might throw him in for tight end. So
nice.
We might be seeing some Iron Man Smith on the field, which I'm very happy about.
All Smiths are Iron Man. Even Baba Jean is an Iron Man, even though she's a lady.
Yes, she is. And number two, I would like to personally apologize to one of our listeners, Eric B. Mitchell, for having you get dragged into this BS fight that I was involved in, and as Al so nicely put it, dragged into unintelligently. I bought the bait. I brought you into it. I apologize, my friend. That's not where it was meant to go. It wasn't supposed to go that way. Obviously, he took it another route.
Right. And Eric and I had a conversation about that, and he was like, oh, dude, Mike didn't do anything wrong. It was fuck nugget number one.
Oh, I know. But I also saw where I was coming from, even getting you involved in the conversation. I apologize for that. So that's from me.
Right. I got something I want to talk about real quick. We got about 9 usable minutes before we have to take a break and get Charlie on the line, and then you guys will have him right here at 7 o'clock. Anybody a football fan in this room? I know I am. I know it's a rhetorical question. We're all football fans.
Never heard of it.
Preseason is about to end, and I know my Falcons went 0-4, but then again, last year they went 1-3 and made the Super Bowl.
Still have one more, right?
No, we're done. We are done. We are done. We're 0-4. We're done. There's one more week. We're not on the schedule. I know you guys are 2-1. I think the Patriots are also 2-1. I don't put a lot of weight into the preseason insofar as how the season's going to go, because once again, I don't know how many years ago it was, the Giants went 0-4 in the preseason and ruined the Patriots' perfect season. And speaking of ruined the Patriots' season, Julian Edelman hurt his knee this past week, tore his ACL, and
he would have been playing this year,
projected to be out for the season.
He took an arrow to the knee.
Is this a large? This is where I'm going to ask it and tell him. I'm done fucking with you, Ed. I fucked with you for a couple days. Now this is a serious question.
Here's my honest answer.
Is this a worry for the Patriots, or is this just a speed bump because we know Bill Belichick is a fucking genius?
Absolutely.
Which one?
It's absolutely a worry.
It's absolutely a worry. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Hello, Barbara Jean, Ange, Morgan, Matthew. Thank you.
You have Cook on the team that they picked up from the Saints. I'm going to say
the Saints.
He's going to do. This is a good kid, though.
I know he is.
He's a really good
I've watched him.
Kid.
He's hard-nosed, too.
He scorches people.
Yes. He scorched us.
That's the problem, is he's a scorcher. Edelman's not a scorcher, so Cook's not taking his place. Amendola is still on the team. Used to do the role Edelman used to. There's a reason why he doesn't no more. He can't. He physically can't do that role. Don't look for him to take that role. I'm not sure the other guy that you have, but I'm going to say you're going to have to throw a rookie into this position.
Or is he going to have to spread it out a little bit more like a Matt Ryan or like a Sam Bradford? Because Edelman was one of his favorite targets.
The reason why is because his positioning on the field. So he's going to be looking towards...
Hello, Matt Mannheim.
He's going to be looking more towards Gronkowski. Because Gronkowski...
Is Gronk going to be healthy?
No. I'm going to give him 8 weeks, and he's probably going to blow his shoulder.
So you're saying this could very much hurt the Patriots' chances of repeating?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. See, I'm of a different ball game. I think that Belichick is like we've always said it. He's the evil genius. He's going to pull the rabbit out of the hat in
telling
week
you right
4.
Now, he blew his load on Cook.
I think
he spent a lot bringing Cook in.
Watch. Come around week 4, we got 2 to 3 weeks before the trade deadline, before the free agency gimmick stops. He's going to find that needle in a haystack on the free agency pool of a guy who wants a job and needs a job and is going to bust his face for a job,
that's why he
like
watches
Edelman.
Preseason games, because that's where your heroes come from.
But then again, 90% of those guys are now bagging groceries at the local Price Chopper.
because they showed heart.
Kurt Warner, motherfucker. That's where they found him.
Yeah, well, he was doing great.
Yeah.
Greatest show on turf, man.
I don't think this is going to bother them at all. I think, once again, Bill Belichick's going to pull a rabbit out of his hat. Let's talk to the one Patriots fan in the room as he's staring a fucking death hole in me. Ed, what do you think? Is this do or die for the Patriots?
Doom.
Really?
Doom.
All right.
Take Edelman out of the last Super Bowl. What do you got? You got
a Falcon victory.
Championship.
There you go.
I also don't. I buy that, but I don't buy it.
The one that went up to freaking Tom and said, "Get your fucking head out of your ass."
Yeah.
Tom's over there.
I'm kind of. I'll buy that too. I'll buy that 50% because again, I told you guys leading to the game, the night of the game, and the weeks after the game, it's a 3/4 team, and
yeah, but
Edelman was a linchpin.
Playing.
He was a linchpin.
Edelman was playing for those 3 quarters.
Yeah, he was.
Brady
Absolutely.
was not. Edelman played in the 4th quarter. Tom finally got his head out of his ass.
And then come overtime and
Take Edelman out of it. Falcons
All right.
championship. I'm telling you right now.
all right.
I'll hack up the champagne now.
No, don't. I'd rather you not. That's a very expensive computer, and we don't want to do that. So we got about 7 usable minutes. I want to introduce you guys, if you haven't seen so already. This is Head. If you guys don't know, Al Snow was at the fight, and Al, if I can point it out, signed the head. Head also signed the head. I don't know how that happened. You got Loki on the forehead. You got Jabroni right here. As an added bonus, you got Cowboy Bob Orton right here. And somehow, I think this should find its way into the hands of a lucky listener, which, once we come up with a gimmick worthy of you, and at the top, by the way, shameless plug, LokiandJabroni.com.
Yeah. First groupie to give us hit.
No.
I like where you're going with this.
Our women
It's a
are-
rock and roll episode, man.
It is. You know what? We'll ask Charlie. No, we won't. But if you want to score this, we're going to come up with a contest. You're going to have your very own Al Snow styrofoam head. We talked to him last week about these. What a great guy, by the way. And I know I brought it up earlier, but articulate, funny,
Yes.
down to earth. He had no problem sitting with you, me, or anybody. He came onto the live feed like 6 or 8 times and just talked to the people like, "Hey, I'm just Al Snow."
I enjoyed being Marty Jannetty kickstand.
Fuck. Don't you know what? I'm not going to tell my Marty Jannetty. I'll save my Marty Jannetty story until after Charlie Benante.
No. We here on the Loki Jabroni show do not.
Don't. If you're going to go out drinking, don't go full Jannetty. That's all I'm saying.
Do not throw guests under the bus at any point on any of our shows. But we will say Marty Jannetty and Alcoholics Anonymous in the same sentence.
Yeah. 12 steps are not a bad thing.
He's a good guy. You could tell deep down inside he was.
He wanted to have fun, but oh my God.
He was
Al Snow and two great stories real quick. This guy over here. We have, if you've seen our bucket of gimmicks as we go out and about, we have a Randy Orton like $2 mask I got at a dollar store, which we used to have hanging in the old studio.
Yep.
This guy puts it on his face and goes up and talks to Bob Orton with the mask on.
As Randy's voice, too.
Yeah. And Bob took it in stride, man. Bob was
Dude, he was cracking
cool.
up.
He was dying.
Cracking up. I was like, "What's up, Pops? How you doing?"
So then 20 minutes later, I'm like, I should go over. I was, no offense to this guy. He was doing a very hard work trying to keep Marty Jannetty upright. So I go over, and I'm like, all right, let me go over and talk to Bob Orton. I told Bob Orton my story about being 8 years old. I couldn't give him the finger, but I told him how much I hated him. He gave me the finger, whatever. We shook hands. We had a photo op, and I said, Bob, I hear your son's a wrestler, and he's kind of okay. Is he going to be good someday? He goes, oh, he's never going to be Cowboy Bob Orton, but who can be? We had a good laugh. He knew it was coming from a place of love. And,
yeah, exactly.
Man, what a great time. The fight was what it was. Congratulations to Floyd Mayweather.
Did that arm finally heal for Cowboy Bob?
Yes, he didn't have the cast on.
He had that cast on for like 2 decades.
28 years, it's finally done.
Can I just say this?
Go ahead.
1 million a minute.
Mm-hmm.
7.3 a million. 7.3 million a minute.
You
What's
figure
the difference? Who got what?
The winner got 7.3 and the loser got 1 point change per minute. Well, again,
talking about the fight?
The fight.
No,
Matt,
we're talking about us being at Pistol Pete's. We earn 90 million.
Put that in perspective, all right? You walk into your job, you walk in for 10 minutes and say, fuck you, and walk out with a $10 million paycheck.
Well, I was going to say that's probably why McGregor is so humble about it, because when they hugged each other, they both whispered, "We are the richest motherfuckers on earth right now."
Thank you for the payday.
He was like, "Thank you for making me the most paid MMA
Not only
either that or Mayweather was whispering to his ears, "Now I can get the surgery for you."
Thank you for making me credible. Because, look, the last couple fights that Mayweather had weren't exactly on the up and up, in my opinion.
New Lamborghini, and I'm going to get it in purple.
Not only is Conor McGregor the highest paid MMA fighter now, he's going to get bigger paydays going forward. He's a proven draw, and he did so Saturday night. So, wait a minute. Alex has a question. Okay, I'm going to write this down, Alex. I'll put this on the listener questions. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to get Charlie on the phone, and we're going to test sound. We'll be back with you at 7 o'clock.
I'm going to change over to Facebook.
All right. I am not on Facebook. I'm going dark, kids.
And I'm going to... Ladies and gentlemen, our friend, Charlie Benante.
The best metal drummer of all time.
The only metal drummer of all times. What's going on, my friend?
The only one? That's cool. I must have played on every metal record.
Every single one, dude.
There was no Lars. There was no Lombardo. There was no Menza. There was only Charlie Benante.
There was no whining. There was no bitching. There was solid rock, and that was it.
Wow. Okay. Good.
Nice.
Let's move on.
Already he's with us. When people talk about heavy metal bands, they talk about family. And one thing that I knew a couple years ago, having watched a documentary about you guys, is Anthrax truly does have family ties. You and Frank Bello are uncle and nephew. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
And you guys grew up as Kiss fans, and music tied you together. Did you always think that you and Frank would be in a band together?
I don't know. I don't think I always thought it, but I would always kind of pull him into the circle of musicians that I knew. So I guess when the opportunity came, and when the Anthrax thing started, when the opportunity came, I guess he was the first choice to come in the band, you know?
And yeah, absolutely, because I believe you had Neil Turbin, or no, Dan Lilker was the bassist before Frankie.
Yes, correct.
And Lilker has since gone on to do other projects. And you've gone on to do projects outside of Anthrax as well. You had Stormtroopers of Death, which is a fun band. If you guys have never listened to this band, what a fun time. They're just all over the map.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's go back to the very early days. My first introduction to you, much like most people, was Fistful of Metal, 1984. You guys did a cover of Alice Cooper's 18. Soldiers of Metal was on that record. You guys you grew up as Kiss fans, Priest fans, Sabbath fans, but you went in a completely opposite direction musically. Was that obviously it was a conscious decision, but what made you play harder, faster, stronger than anybody else at the time?
I think it was the kind of music that some of us were listening to. Myself, I was influenced by a lot of the English stuff and a lot of the punk type of sound, and Motorhead was a big thing. The first two Iron Maiden albums to me were very, very instrumental in the sound that I wanted to have. And I guess when I got into the band, that's when I had a chance to start writing music. And, you know, I helped to write songs like Death Rider and Metal Thrashing Mad. And that was taking us into another, you know, a different level, to say, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, I just think a lot of those bands that were coming out of England really influenced the look and the sound that, you we were kind of forming,
Right.
Absolutely. Now, after Fistful of Metal, it was Neil Turbin as the frontman. The next 4 albums, Spreading Disease, Among the Living, Steady Euphoria, Persistence of Time, all seminal heavy metal albums. I can recite the lyrics from every one of those right now. And you and I, Mike, took a car ride, and we were talking about songs off of each of these albums. Joey Belladonna comes into the fold, and you guys start to really hit the big time. How did the dynamic change with going from Neil Turbin, who had a little bit more of an earthy, growly voice, to Joey Belladonna, who was very much I hate to say it, but Queensryche, Steve Perry, Freddie Mercury type voice?
I mean, at the time, we were still looking for a vocalist like Iron Maiden, like, Judas Priest, we wanted something. We didn't, at the time, that's exactly what we liked and what we wanted to sound like. So when we heard Joey sing, it was immediate that, that sounds right. That sounds right over the music that we had. And it was basically as simple as that. And that was it. And we were on our way. I mean, we already had Spreading the Disease written. Joey came in and just basically sang those songs.
I can't imagine anyone else singing Gun Ho or AIR other than Joey Belladonna. And I've heard John do them, yeah. John Bush. I've seen you guys probably a dozen times. Hearing John do it was great, but I can't imagine on a disc, on a cassette, on vinyl, anybody other than Joey singing those songs.
No, Joey's the voice of this band. So, I don't want to insult anybody who followed us through the, 90s period. We made some great records then. But for that sound of Anthrax that people first heard, it's Joey.
Oh, absolutely.
That's it.
I mean, I saw you guys, which was an odd, eclectic bill. The first time I was introduced to Anthrax live was on the Kiss tour in 1987, the Crazy Nights tour. And I thought it was an odd mix, but it introduced me to Anthrax, and once again, it just fed my addiction. I've been hooked on the band ever since. And you guys, you basically cleared the room when you were done. I think there were 8,000 people in New Haven Coliseum that night. And when Anthrax got off the stage, 4,000 people left. That's how good you were. And I'm not disparaging Kiss. They're my favorite band of all time. But you guys, you blew everybody away that night.
It was just a time for us. I mean, that was, when I'm the Man had just hit and people were starting to discover us, and it was our first take on kind of, crossing over, into the mainstream, and it was a good time, but again, you can't take anything away from Kiss, but, it was a great, for us, it was one of the best tours that we ever had been on, because being huge Kiss fans, this was, every day was, an event.
Right.
I can imagine.
Hey, speaking of I'm the Man, be honest, was that a 5-minute song, or did you guys really sit down all afternoon and create that? That was like a 5-minute gimmick, huh?
No. Actually, the whole thing with I'm the Man was the Beastie Boys were originally going to do the rapping on it, and, that was in the works, and actually saw them at a Metallica show at the Felt Forum, and they said, what's going on with the record? And our schedule was so screwed up at the time because we were just constantly on tour and stuff like that, so the schedules really couldn't match up. So basically it came down to when we were recording it, the Beastie Boys were blowing up, and they couldn't do it, so we decided to do it, and that's how it happened.
It's a fantastic song.
Did you ever get a chance to actually do it with them? Like, did you ever like get a concert event where you guys both played and you were able to like cross that?
No, never happened. I wish it did. That
I was
going to
say,
great.
I wish I could have found that. That sounds like
Right?
it would have been pretty badass.
That would have been fantastic. The 80s albums, from Spreading the Disease, Among the Living, State of Euphoria, Persistence of Time at the end of the 80s as you crack into 1990. People see the image of Anthrax with the shorts and the Tweety Bird T-shirts, Public Enemy, and everybody's having a good time. What they missed, and one thing that I latched onto, was the seriousness of a lot of the lyrics. And I have noticed that the name Charlie Benante is attached to a lot of the songwriting. Were you more the music, or were you part of the lyrical content of the song?
I was more the music.
Okay.
Like I would basically come in with the basic idea for the song, and present it to everybody in the rehearsal room, and then, you know, everybody would play it, and then we'd arrange it, and then Scott would take the song, and pretty much he would do a good majority of the lyrics, if not all. And you know, that's the way it went. You know, the other guys would contribute, you know, some stuff to it, and we'd have a song. But usually it was like I would bring in the basic idea of the song.
So pretty much it was the main riff. You're like, this is what I have for the idea. I always wondered how the bands really kind of got together and sat back. I mean, you always hear the stories, you know, like what is it, Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic is an absolute classic where they literally locked themselves into like a building and didn't come out until that album was written. Do you guys have anything almost like that? Well, almost like a bonding experience, your favorite album that you guys created and the place where you did it at? Like what made it special?
I could tell you every record, you know, Spreading the Disease was basically written and arranged in Mount Vernon, New York.
I got a factory.
There you go.
Among the Living was written. I would go to Scott's house and we taped some riffs and stuff like that, and then we would go to a place in Manhattan called Top Cat Studio and basically, you know, work out the songs there. State of Euphoria was done in Manhattan as well. And Persistence of Time was done in Yonkers, New York. It was at the place that we had the fire.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that. If any of you guys have never seen Behind the Music, go find it now. There's a 5-minute piece on the fire that almost destroyed the band, not only their equipment, almost destroyed the band.
Yeah.
It was a tough time, but you know, whatever. It's like, I remember being devastated back when it happened and everything, but then we had to kind of laugh about it too. It was just like, okay, well, what are we going to do? Just move on, you know?
Right.
You know,
you're here now giving us this interview.
Right.
So.
And it's funny, in my research, I've watched probably 36 interviews, different things, and I watched yesterday the Anthrax Behind the Music, and what Charlie just said is the same thing that Frank said, again, in that thing. We're Anthrax. We move on. We don't know how to go backward. We only go forward. Is that more of the Charlie and Frank family, or is that the Anthrax family having the same mindset to go forward?
I think it's that New York kind of mentality, you know. You get up, you know, wipe yourself off, whatever, and then you move on. I mean,
right.
That's just the way it is. I mean, believe me, there's so many other things that I see where, I remember back in the day when bands, it still happens now, you know, when bands used to, you know, we used to tour and we used to have a U-Haul truck, and, you know, some band, somebody screws up and, leaves the U-Haul truck unlocked or something like that, or their gear gets ripped off. You know, it's like it happens to so many bands. I mean, we've gotten ripped off, and I remember we got ripped off in D.C., took everything. And we got ripped off in Italy. We got ripped off in Liverpool. But what are you going to do? You know, shit happens, you know?
That's crazy.
And that's unfortunate because, once again, you're coming to provide entertainment for people, and some jackass is going to go, oh, look,
He's
free
got the ultimate
shit.
souvenir.
Right?
Anthrax drum right there, baby.
I've got Charlie Benante's
So I
double
got
bass right here.
A listener comment/question for you. Jim Laramere says, I'm the man, obviously kick-ass song. I'm the man 91. What happened? He listened to it today and he realized actually it was pretty bad. No offense, Charlie, he says.
It was what?
He said, I'm the man 91 was horrible.
The one for Attack of the Killer Bees, I think
the
it was.
the remake. What happened?
I just like
on
to say
that?
I disagree.
Of course you would.
It was 91. That's why.
I love it.
And speaking of 91, the musical tide was changing. Obviously, metal and glam and all of that was starting to take a backseat to grunge. And personal issues.
They really started doing the rap rock.
Rap rock?
Oh, my God. Rap rock.
Have you been drinking, sir?
No, I just couldn't
All right,
use
just
those
checking.
two words in the same sentence. It was coming out horrible.
Understood. But the musical tide was changing, and I'm not going to get into the infighting that was going on in Anthrax. Again, I've done a lot of my research. I've been a fan of this band for 30 years. Joey Belladonna is now out. And you bring in John Bush, one of my favorite singers of all time, and you guys in 1993 put out, probably in my opinion, the quintessential seminal Anthrax album, Sound of White Noise.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question on the album, and then I have a listener question. I'll ask my question first, and when you're done, I'll ask the listener question. Was the aggression on that album stemming from the problems you had previously, and you just wanted to come out of the gate swinging?
You mean the White Noise record?
Yes, sir.
That record was kind of like a watershed moment.
I would say it was a lot harder. It was definitely
my favorite Anthrax record of all time.
In my opinion, that was one of my workout freaking. You throw that in, dude, and you could do anything.
Mm-hmm.
that was hard.
I don't know if that record was, you know, a little bit before its time. When I listen back to it now, it takes me back to a place where I was back then. Different state of mind, of course, but you know, we made a really big change, and I think along the lines we were thinking like Van Halen made a change. You know what I mean? And I thought, you know, we can do this too. And I just think the musical climate was changing, and I think we were changing, and we did it, you know?
Yeah, and it's funny. It's funny that you brought up Van Halen, because not a lot of bands, I can think of three right now, three bands that had a successful lead singer change and kept the momentum. One is Iron Maiden, one is Van Halen, and one is Anthrax. There was no stopping at that point. And again, let's take the 90s out of the equation. Grunge was big. A lot of the heavy metal bands were losing record sales to the Nirvanas and the Soundgardens. But I can remember going to see, it was Rob Halford's side band, Fight, opened for you guys at the Orpheum Theater in Boston in 93, and you guys tore the place apart. It was amazing. And John was just a bundle of energy.
It was a great time for us. We kind of had we were writing a new chapter in the band's career. And I think, I honestly think the only real metal band in the 90s that really survived that whole grunge alternative thing was Pantera. I just think all of us kind of took a hit by what was happening, and then, like everything else, it goes in cycles. So towards, you know, the end of the 90s into 2000s, metal started to get that resurgence again, especially over in Europe. It happened there first, and then it, came back to the States. But thank God for that European market because, pretty much saved a lot of bands.
Oh, yeah, because I can remember seeing you
They're
play.
always about 2 years behind us.
Somebody, I can't remember who it was, said anybody can be popular in Europe. David Cassidy could play to 60,000 people, but if he comes to the States, he's playing a room full of 68 people.
Germans love David
Dude,
Hasselhoff.
when I would go over and visit my brother in Germany, I'd bring some rock, and people would go gaga over it because they haven't heard it yet.
Right,
it was
but I shared a picture to trumpet your appearance here tonight, Charlie, and there's a picture of you at a festival in Germany playing to 250,000 people. And I'm like, I would have loved, the biggest crowd I ever saw you to play to was 20,000, at New Haven. So 20,000, that's a great crowd. 250,000, that's freaking phenomenal.
That's an ocean of people.
Right. All you can see in this picture, and anybody who wants to go to our page and look at it, there's Charlie turning around. He's mugging for the camera, and behind him is just a wave, an ocean of people. So, I'm buying into what you're saying. Some of the albums, and I'm going to say this, I'm not trying to be biased to John versus Joey because I love all incarnations of Anthrax, but Sound of White Noise, Stomp, 442, Volume 8, We've Come For You All, 4 of my favorite Anthrax albums. I'm not saying 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm saying if I had a top 10, they're definitely in there.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, I love We Come For You All. It was probably one of my favorite ones. And, if I had to pick 2, I would pick, White Noise, and I would pick We Come For You All. Those are 2 of my favorite ones. But again, it didn't matter how great the records were at the time. The climate was just not there. It just wasn't right for metal bands, and no one gave it a listen. People slept on it.
Right, exactly. We obviously know that you looked forward to being on tour with Kiss and you had fun with that. Who was one of your surprise favorite to kind of tour with? Somebody that you kind of thought maybe was going to be a dick or, you didn't think you were going to kind of go with, and then out of nowhere you're like, man, you guys are actually pretty cool.
Jeez. I don't know how to.
Yeah, it's really on the spot.
I can't really answer that question because I'm a dick either way.
No, come on. Charlie, I've met you twice. Once you didn't even know that it was me. Frankie pointed me out. But you've always been great. Come on, you're a nice guy.
How about if I reword the question and say, who is one of your favorite people to tour with that you didn't think you would ever tour with?
Well, I mean, we've played many festivals with different bands.
Right. Which is my original question, because sometimes you come across some of these people and you're like, man, like, for example, Fred Durst. I'm pretty sure you might have come across him a few times, during that clash of that time when you guys were hitting that. And I've heard that he rubs people the wrong way. So he already has that reputation going in. Vinnie Vincent before he was with Kiss.
Are we going to go back to the Vinnie Vincent thing
I'm
already?
just using examples of people that rub the business the wrong way, but then at the end, sometimes they do something good, and you're like, hey, you're actually not a bad dude.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just had your head in the wrong situation.
That's a good one. Nobody really comes to mind. I remember, I'll tell you a quick story. Back in 1992 or 3, I was with Soundgarden. They played a show, and after the show, we kind of went out a little bit afterwards. And Chris Cornell was very quiet, wouldn't say a word or anything like that. And I just thought it was kind of weird, but I guess whatever. I just, okay, no problem. So let's fast forward to we're in Europe playing a festival together in Belgium. And I'm talking to Kim from Soundgarden, and Chris comes walking by, and Kim says, hey, Chris, you're giving me Charlie, blah, blah, blah. And Chris was like, hey, man, how are you, you know? And we sat down and just talked. And it was, I was so happy about it because I love Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
And I was so happy because I had that last memory in my mind from that time, but this memory that I had really made me happy. And then let's go forward a little bit, you know, a couple of months back when he passed away. Right. And I thought about that story, and I was so happy that it was fate that made that, you know, that happen. I was just really happy that I had the chance to just sit down and talk with him for a bit. It was a good moment, and it's a good memory that I have.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
A great moment. Thank you very much.
That's fantastic. You mentioned that You've Come For You All was one of your favorite records. Not long after that came out, I know Dimebag did a lot of solos on Stomp, and he did some stuff with you on We've Come For You All. My birthday will never be the same. Why is that? Because on 5 days before my birthday, I went and saw Damage Plan in Hartford. On my birthday proper, December 8th, we lost Dime very tragically. Do you have any good Dimebag stories you could share with us?
I got too many Dimebag stories. You know, the thing about Dime is just like, when Dime walked in the room, the light switch didn't even have to be turned on. It was just illuminated. You know what I mean? He was, had this aura, you know, he had this glow. He just made you, feel happy. If you were in a shit mood, you weren't in a shit mood anymore. The only time that I was ever, not welcoming his presence when we were on tour and I was fucking so sick. I was in my bunk, like shivering, fever, you know, the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And I hear the door open on the bus and then my curtain gets pulled open and he's like, come on, brother, booze is the healer. Come on. Booze is and, I'm like, no, dude, I can't drink anything. I'm not. He's like, I'm telling you, booze is the healer. Here I was, like freezing, running such a high fever, and he's pushing a shot in front of me. So I drank the shot, and I just passed out.
Oh, wow.
It was just, you know, it's just him, you know. So you know, a couple of days later, I was better, and I'm like, I think that shot really cured me. You know?
Oh, wow. Like, I
told you.
Dr. Dimebag MD to the rescue, right?
Oh, that's crazy.
Wow.
There you go.
Fantastic.
So it's either with him, you know, like he would say, drink it or wear it. So.
That sounds like us. Seriously.
Holy cow, man.
All right, so in 2005, I had the privilege of going to the classic Anthrax lineup reunion in Hartford. Joey, Danny, Scott, Frankie, Charlie, the whole band. You played the Webster Theater. You blistered the place. I met you guys after the show. It was fantastic. What brought about the reunion? I think we might have stirred the pot.
I just think that the reunion was something that had been talked about, and certain people were kind of got in our ear and I don't know, kind of pushed the point a bit. And you know, the other thing that was in the back of some of our minds was repairing old relationships.
Right.
And I think that was a big thing with us. Enough time had passed that, you know, put this stuff behind us.
Especially in the music business. You guys got to be bumping into each other all the time, and with Bad Blood, that can't go over very well.
Yeah, so, you know, we did it, and then it came to an end, and that was it.
Right, and I know,
you know,
I know there was like, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I know that after the reunion, there was like this revolving door. It was Joey's in, John Bush is back, Joey's in, Dan Nelson's here for a cup of coffee, John Bush comes back, Joey's in. There was like this revolving door that every time Anthrax came out, you weren't sure who was going to be on the stage leading the band vocally.
That I treat that time as a nightmare that, we woke up from. And, Joey was always the one that we were, wanting to get with at that point, because Joey was great on the reunion tour, you know what I mean? And that was one of the relationships that did get repaired, basically I told this story that, Scott and myself, we were invited by Metallica to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing. And after the whole ceremony and everything, we were at a bar. Metallica had this little party afterwards, and me, Scott, and Lars were at the bar talking, and Lars just came out with it to us. Hey, what do you guys think about doing a Big Four tour? And we were like, wow, that would be great. You know what I mean?
It certainly was.
And we talked a little more about it, and then Lars went to talk to someone else, and Scott and myself, we just looked at each other like, I think we may have said the same at the same time. We got to get our shit together here.
Right.
And from that moment on, we got our shit together, and kind of never really looked back from that time. It was just momentum, good momentum, and I think we all knew what we had to do, and we did it. Right. And that meant getting Joey back, making this record called Worship Music that really
it was fantastic.
Excited people again, and excited our base, and basically
we didn't hear from you.
That was it.
Almost pretty close to almost a decade at that. I mean,
it was
just
8
about
years.
8 years. I was gonna say 8 years. We haven't heard anything new, and I'll tell you what. When I heard you guys were going back in, I have
a story about the Worship Music tour. I'm going to share it as soon as Charlie's done. But the Worship Music album and For All Kings, fantastic. Some of my favorite cuts by Anthrax of all time: Fight 'Em Till You Can't, The Devil You Know, Evil Twin, The Battle Chose Us. Just some of the best. You could put those on any Anthrax record and they'd fit, whether it was Joey, John, whatever, whether it was Denny Spitz playing guitar or Rob Caggiano or Paul Crook, anybody. This is seminal Anthrax, in my opinion.
Speaking of working with the times, how much do people influence on, say, social media nowadays? Do you guys really take in stride? Because I know obviously some artists will take what people say on Twitter to stride or whatever else. Is there, do you guys use that as drive, or you just like, stick your middle finger in the air and fucking carry on?
No. I mean, look, if it's constructive, if it's not someone who just wants to be noticed and just come out with some smart ass remark, but if it's someone who's a real fan of music and the band, then of course we will take it. You know what I mean? As
right.
far as a set list goes or something like that, we listen. Right. And because, you can only be so proud. Sometimes you need to have,
I like that statement.
A little bit of, you got to be willing to, you can't wear everything on your sleeve. You need to be open.
Absolutely.
And you need to grow. And that's the whole thing with a lot of bands who surround themselves with yes people and yes this and yes that. And then you lose the reason why you do this in the first place. We do this because we got together when we were younger and enjoyed making music, and we enjoyed the whole thing. And sometimes people lose it, and that's one of the reasons why I think worship music and For All Kings worked so well.
No, I was going to agree.
We were enthusiastic about it. We loved doing this. We loved making those records.
Here comes my fanboy moment. And I promised I wouldn't do this till almost the end. And I know, Charlie, our time is short. Fanboy moment, and then I'm going to tell you my story about the worship music tour. I was skeptical, with a capital S, of Joey coming back after 4 fantastic albums with John Bush. And then I heard worship music. And from the first notes of Fight 'Em Till You Can't, I was like, okay, this makes sense. This is the right move. I went into it wanting to hate the record because I'm such a huge John Bush fan. And I heard the record, and I was like, okay, I get it. This was the right move. The 2005 reunion tour was great. It was a fantastic thing. Now the record's here. It felt right. And I maybe for you, same thing. It felt right.
Yeah, it was natural. Where the reunion thing, for us, some of us, it felt forced.
Right.
And it wasn't.
Exactly.
It wasn't organic, it wasn't natural, it just didn't feel. But when Joey came back, and true story, the first song he sang was Fight 'Em. And when we heard it back, all of us just kind of got chills,
My favorite song on the record.
We just knew it was right. Like, that's the sound right there of Anthrax. And, it sounds really shitty to say that because people say, oh, he's dissing, John Bush, but I'm not. I'm not doing that at all.
Really,
I'm
exactly.
Just saying that's the sound that
I was going to say, if you're listening to this interview, you can see that. Like, you constantly say that you see and hear his voice, and that is what you see as Anthrax. And I got to be completely honest with you. I agree. I think in all stating on it, he symbolizes Anthrax. He symbolizes that sound. The way you guys play and the way his voice is, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's harmony.
I'll agree with that. Is. I'll agree with that to an extent because again, I'm not ashamed. I'm a huge John Bush fan. Those 4 records that Anthrax did with John Bush, to me, were far and above a lot of the 90s records that anybody put out. Stone Temple Pilots, fuck them. Nirvana, fuck them. John Bush and Anthrax, that team blew away, in my opinion, anything that came out during that time.
They were powerful. I'm just saying,
Well, I mean, yes, and they were good records, I thought, but
I thought Stomp could have been bigger. I really did.
Yeah. Well, there was a problem there with the record company, but we won't go into that.
Big problems back in the 90s with record companies.
So, but anyway, that was it. And when you see Joey with us on stage, that's real. A showman right there.
I was going to say, that's real. That you can see it. You can feel it. Every concert I've ever been to of you guys personally is you just, I don't think you put on a bad show. And if you do, you guys are great actors.
No, I've always.
He's great. He's a great frontman. He's rock and roll,
Yeah, absolutely. Now I'm going to tell my personal story. Then we're going to get. I know Charlie's pressed for time. We'll get the listener questions in real quick. November 11 of 2011, you guys played at the Palladium in Worcester, Massachusetts. I was there, 38 years old, in the pit. I'm showing the kids how to do it. It was a fantastic show. 9 days later, I had a heart attack. The doctor asked me, I'm alive, dude. I count my blessings that I'm alive. The doctor asks me, well, what kind of strenuous activity have you done in the last couple months? I'm like, I was in the pit at Anthrax 9 days ago. And he just looked at me. He looked at me, and his face went white, and he was like, oh, yeah, you're going to survive. You're going to do good. You're all right. But I'll never forget, I equate Anthrax, not in a bad way, I equate Anthrax with my heart attack. Because there I was in the pit just owning shit. My glasses, I wear glasses on a daily basis. My glasses got broke that night. I was like, fuck it, I don't care. I'll drive home blind. I had a great time. A couple days later, I'm in the hospital, rigged up like an Xbox, and that was the question. What was your strenuous activity in the last couple months? I was in the pit at Anthrax teaching the kids how it's done. So Anthrax is always, in a weird way, always going to hold a special place in my heart, as damaged as it is. So we know you're pressed for time. We have some questions from the listeners, then we're going to let you go. Question number 1. After the big 4 drummers, which would be you, Lars Ulrich, Nick Menza, Dave Lombardo, who do you consider to be the best metal drummer of all time?
Out of that group?
No, outside of that group. Take the big 4 out of the equation. Charlie Benante says, this guy.
I can't. I can never say someone is the best at anything because it's impossible. I'd wake up tomorrow and hear a song by, whatever. I'm thinking Rush right now, and I'd say, "Wow, Neil Peart, he's like the greatest." And the next day, I may hear, "Alive" by Kiss, and hear Peter Criss playing, and I'll be like, oh, "He's amazing. He's the best." So for me, it's like, I think it's so stupid when people say, like, people have a thing that they do all the time on social media. It's like, if you had to pick blah, 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 and it's like, dude, that's like, let me come to your house and say, ask your parents, okay.
Hey, now, we built a show around it.
What's your favorite kid? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, how do you answer something like that? It depends on the day. It depends on your mood. It's
Well, today.
So it's hard for me. Today?
Who's your favorite drummer today?
Today, my favorite drummer is myself because I've been working on demos.
Yes.
I've been working on demos, and it's been coming out pretty good. So I was pretty happy with myself.
I got to tell you guys,
today,
I got an errant message from Charlie earlier in the week. Says, "Can we start at 2:00?" And I'm like in the middle of my day. I'm like, "What the hell is this all about?" He goes, "Oops, sorry, wrong person." So
yeah, it was wrong. So.
I was questioning. I'm questioning. Like, is Charlie working on music? This is fucking fantastic. Now we kind of got the inside scoop. Charlie's working on music right now. All right.
Yeah, I've been working on music.
Fantastic. Anthrax or other?
No, yeah, Anthrax stuff.
Yes.
All right. Question number 2 from a listener. What advice would you give a 12-year-old drummer student who feels destined to be married to the drum pad for the rest of their life?
Well, first of all, don't get married.
Good call. Yes,
From
sir.
2 divorced human beings, thank you very much.
Don't get married to anything. I don't know, man. Just 2 days ago, I was with a drum pad. So every once in a while, you're going to, appreciate that drum pad. Because from that drum pad, you get on a real kit, and then you're just going to fucking wipe out. And the drum pad really, really helps you. So I would say, don't donate all your time to the drum pad. Go have fun on a kit, but when you're sitting in front of the TV or something, watching something, get a drum pad. Just play along to something. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Doing rudiments is a great thing.
Wow. The next question is: do you hate Donald Trump the way the rest of us do? That was from a listener. That's not from us. Although Eddie, our producer, hates Donald Trump.
No, he likes boxers.
I don't see the point in answering that question.
All right.
Hey, it's from a listener.
There's no real
fifth.
way of winning this thing, because if I say, "Oh, I hate him," people be like, "How could you?" If I say I love him, then you get the other people.
Yeah, exactly.
You're allowed to plead the fifth.
Yeah, exactly.
You are.
Right,
okay. Here comes one of the more intelligent questions. Would the sound of White Noise have sounded different if Joey Belladonna had stayed in the band? And how would his voice change the album?
Oh, it would have been different. It would definitely have been.
I'll say that.
it would have been a different collection of songs. The music would have probably been the same, but I think maybe some of the vocal styles would have definitely been different.
Okay.
You know?
All
And it still would have been good. But yeah, I could, for instance, I've been playing with this for a while now, and I would love to hear Joey sing Powder's Field.
Oh, my Lord. That would be great.
Hell yeah. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Put that shit on Google Play.
See.
I'll buy it tomorrow.
Right?
Well, maybe you'll get to hear that, in a few.
I'm looking forward to this new album that you're hinting on, man. I might be
Hinting.
the first one. That's what I said. Hinting. I might have to get in line for that one.
All right.
It's going to be good.
All right.
But I do have to split, though.
All right.
But thank you, guys.
No problem.
No, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. A lot of questions on the table. We'll contact you. Maybe we'll do a part 2 sometime in the future when you're not on the road.
Yeah, man, we'll do that. No problem. We'll definitely do that.
All right. Thank you, Charlie, so much. Charlie Benante from Anthrax, right here on the Loki and Jabroni Show.
Guys.
Thank you very much.
Rock hard, melt faces, baby.
Have a great
Thank
night.
you.
You too, bro.
Bye, guys.
Later. That was freaking fantastic. Unfortunately, he had to leave us. I'm telling you, he's recording a new album. Anthrax is in the studio.
We just
Jesus.
He just said it's going to be bomb.
Some of the questions we missed, I want to read these out loud, was how much did John Bush change the sound of Anthrax? Favorite Anthrax drum sound song? Kiss fan question. Favorite Kiss drummer? I think he alluded to Peter Criss.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Is Chuck D as cool as he seems? Why was there no Anthrax Public Enemy CD? And what is Charlie's favorite Stephen King book? Because a lot of their songs came from Stephen King books. We did not get a chance to ask those questions. Very big apologies to anybody who sent in questions.
I was hoping for a good Flavor Flav story. I won't lie.
It could have happened, but unfortunately,
Flavor
Flav. Wow.
Here's something cool, like Dimebag Darrell ain't got shit on Flavor Flav. That guy and his 13 kids are nuts.
I'd have thrown my shit down. No
He was
way.
on Drew's
Bullshit.
fucking rehab show. That tells you something
Right?
there. Okay?
You're on Dr. Drew. Your shit's done.
With China. With fucking China.
Oh, I saw that season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And it's pronounced China.
China.
Chapped.
And now she's dead. Now she's dead.
But we'll always have the porn.
Oh, my Lord. See, this is why we
I'm
can't
going
have
back to
nice
Twitter.
things. Go to Twitter. What do the people got to say? I'm late to the Facebook game. I don't have the comments. But I'm glad you guys were here.
I did the questions that popped up.
Yes, you did. And I'm looking forward to Wednesday, if you're audio only, hearing the interview. We're going to do a part 2. I'm going to stay in touch with Charlie. Let's have some fun, man. I mean, we asked a lot of the timeline questions and whatnot, but I'm sure there's a lot of inside, deep fanboy shit that once we get Charlie back, we'll open it up to you. Give me your fanboy questions.
I want his honest answer on my question, though.
Which was the worst band to play with? Who was a dick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know he wanted to tell me.
He went to Al Snow route. He really did.
I know he wanted to tell me.
He went to Al Snow route, and I'm like, Al, who was the worst guy you ever worked with? Oh, well,
They still got to see these people. That's why they won't do it.
Yeah, but if it's a band that no longer exists, like, I would love to think that if we had Alice Cooper on the show, and I said, Alice, who was the worst band you toured with for whatever reason? He would say Vinnie Vincent, because Vinnie Vincent's a fucking cocksucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people follow Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper doesn't follow anybody.
There will be no talk of Vinnie Vincent anywhere on this show.
Or Julian Edelman.
Fuck Julian Edelman. Rat bastard cocksucker.
Matter of fact, I don't even want to talk about knees. I don't want any talk of Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan.
Wow.
I don't want any talk of
Who owns a fidget spinner? Gee, Mini Christmas. Who put that fucking thing up there?
we got
I do. I don't own any fidget spinners.
we got
Thank you
some
very
with our
much.
names on it. I thought
Yeah.
All right. What did you think, Ed?
he seems like a good guy.
Yeah. Salt of the earth. I didn't get to the coffee question. He has his own, I believe it's called Forever Metal coffee, that he produces and sends around.
I
the
also wanted him to confess that like Scott Ian wanted to put out a rap record because he was rapping on everything for a while there.
I don't know. I read Scott Ian's book, and he's all up into like the whole NWA, Public Enemy, KRS-One. He was into a lot of that stuff.
I've seen like the live shows of when they do Bring the Noise, and he's just going ape shit at him. So
yeah,
clearly he's in his zone there.
Scott loves that, but Scott loves everything. Scott's a guy who loves Skynyrd, Kiss, KRS-One, Public Enemy, Anthrax, Metallica. There's nothing that Scott Ian doesn't listen to. His father-in-law, for fuck's sake, if nobody knows, is a little singer you might have heard of, Meatloaf. Scott Ian's father-in-law is Meatloaf.
What always amazed me, obviously I haven't been following Anthrax as long as you guys have.
Which you should.
One thing that always amazed me, like on MTV, it didn't matter who they were talking to. It could have been Madonna or whoever. They'd be like, oh, wait a minute. Let's get Scott Ian's take on this. And they would like push through the crowd, and it's Scott Ian from Anthrax. Hello.
And see, he's one of those guys that...
How's it going?
Instant, because of the beard, and he's married to Meatloaf's daughter, and there's a lot of things about Scott. He wrote a book. There's a lot of things about Scott that lends itself to sound bites. Charlie, on the other hand, I always saw, just from the couple times I've met him, and hunting him down, and seriously, hunting him down for tonight, he was always more cerebral. He's going to give you the most intriguing inside info on the band than perhaps Frankie Bello, his nephew, a.k.a. bandmate, is going to give you the hot-headed version. And you watch any of those documentaries, Frank's a hothead. Danny Spitz, if you can find him, great on guitar, not very good on the microphone. Joey Belladonna is going to give you the lead singer version. Charlie's the meat and potatoes, and that's why I wanted him here. This was fantastic. I enjoyed myself.
And in honor of him, we shall now discuss the GOAT drummer of all... No, I'm joking.
Charlie Benante. Or Eric Carr. Same.
I'll go with the Charlie Benante. Absolutely.
I'm saving these 4 questions for the next time he's on. He did say he's coming back. So, guys, if you enjoyed this, stay tuned, man. We're going to have Charlie back. Anybody on Twitter say anything?
Nope. I just got on here, so, I mean, that's...
I do want to mention something before you get in the top 10. I know we're doing great on time, but during one of our 800 live feeds on Saturday night, and that was due to the Wi-Fi. I can't blame Pistol Pete's. I can't blame my computer because eventually Google Chrome won over Mozilla Firefox.
It happens.
This gentleman to my right had a rant that I agreed with, but some people might have taken falsely. I'm going to take his rant to another level. The challenge that you threw out, I will not rest until I have his teeth as a necklace. That's that.
All right, I'll make you a crown.
Oh, I would wear that shit to work. An ivory crown. Fan fucking tastic. That's all I got to say.
So, we're going to
God bless you.
Excuse me.
Who's still left? I'm looking at the Facebook. I'm just now getting back into Facebook. Eddie's on the opposite side now. I see him. There he is. Hi, Eddie. How are you? He's usually on the left side of the screen. Now he's on the right side of the screen, the man in the box.
Exactly.
Guys, what did you think of Charlie Benante?
That was great. Absolutely great, man. He came down to earth, fucking answered the questions like I figured he would. I mean, political questions are always going to be rough anyway.
Yeah, I kind of see why he shied away.
I respect celebrities that don't stick a dog in the fight.
Right, exactly.
Doesn't mean they don't vote, but they don't throw their opinion
just don't
around.
Right, exactly.
Because he's right. Whatever he says is going to be the wrong thing for half of his fans.
Right, exactly. He doesn't want to piss anybody off.
Some people will end you.
Absolutely.
Just for something.
Or they'll try to.
Well, you got to understand that's the only power they have.
Right.
I'm not your fan no more. So there you go.
Yeah. Whoever the guy voted for, or if he chose not to vote at all, we don't know. It's really none of anyone's business.
Right. Exactly.
And it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, and and to be honest, what if he did like Trump? You know what I'm saying? Then he wouldn't be like, I hate Trump like the rest of you.
He's entitled to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he wouldn't be like, hey, I actually.
He could very well have voted for him and not be happy with him.
Right.
Or he could have not voted for him and be happy with him. We don't know.
Right.
It's
You know what we're always happy with?
beer.
Beer, thank you. So talk
We love
amongst
beer.
yourselves. I'm going to get an authentic Canadian beer out of the
All
gimmick
right,
box.
I'm going to finish up my Elysian Dayglow
Do
here.
what you got to do. What are you doing?
What's that?
What are
I'm
you
gonna
doing?
try
man?
this Canadian beer you
All right.
brought, so.
Thank you very much
this
to Billy Fuller,
this
listener of the
contains
show.
wheat.
This contains wheat. Thins.
Wheat.
You've been drinking that for a while.
Wheat thins. You've been nursing that. I'm too close to. Oh, look at that. He's got two.
Oh, a
All right.
whole 2 beers.
All right.
I
So
was waiting for our
I
Canadian
can
beer,
see.
eh?
I can see now that Jim Lallemere is on the feed. Cheesebeerfood.com, Jim Lallemere. We're going to break
Yes.
out this Canadian beer. We're going to try it together. We're going to try to save one for Jim.
And
And
we're
we're going to
about-
see what he thinks.
I think we're at this point, almost 2 weeks away from
2 weeks
MST
away.
3K.
Tell him about it.
Yep.
So, in case y'all didn't know, you want to get on there, we're doing the Patreon donors. We are going to be picking 2 lucky Patreon donors to come join us here in the Valhalla Studios. We're going to be recording live Kill Bill in MST 3K style in the fashion. And now we got
Mr. Jabroni. We're going to stream Mr. Jabroni watching Kill Bill.
Yeah,
and we
because
have
I've
the
never
lights
seen
now
it.
to
reactions.
actually finally get that silhouette look that we want, that we were looking for the first time.
Now that we have the lighting.
And we're all going to sit here. We're going to have the cheese and the beer, and we're going to make some nachos.
Jim is going to team up with Angela and make the perfect, and I swear to God it's going to be perfect, meat and cheese platter for everyone to enjoy.
Non-Patreon donors cannot have any. Do you know why?
Only winners get cheese and beer.
That's
It's
right.
nacho cheese.
It's nacho cheese.
Wow.
It's Patreon cheese.
That might have been the
It's
worst
delicious
fucking show.
Patreon cheese.
All right.
I also no, go ahead.
I was going to say, and we're creating nachos. No, tacos.
Tacos. Jim said he would teach you the right cheese and all that gimmick. And
to throw in with the tacos.
Right.
Folks,
So,
there is not a wall in the world that is going to stop us from having nachos and tacos.
absolutely not.
I agree.
So
I agree.
Billy Fuller has brought us this from Montreal. It's La Bita Tiba Nomad Brew Pale Ale. I want to show you this. 5.5 alcohol percentage by volume.
What?
Can you see that? Shut up, Ed. I don't know if you said anything.
That was me.
Almost everything's in French, so wait, here it is. This beer is brewed using the typical America Columbus Centennial and Summit hops. Admire its pale yellow color as well as its top fermentation, which gives it a mild bitterness that's just right. Serve at 6 degrees Celsius in tall glasses. Okay.
How do we
So,
know this is at the proper temperature?
I don't know. I put it in the box of gimmicks earlier.
Well, while he's passing
'Cause
those
it'll
out,
blow up.
while he's passing those out, something cool. Quick Loki's gaming segment.
Yeah.
I just read
I-
2 hours ago. A
I
patch
saw that.
for Friday the 13th came out. The mini maps are out. What do you think about that? Smaller versions of the maps.
Talk amongst yourselves. I have to go visit
Dude, the
a
only
friend.
thing is, how many times did people really get away from Jason with you?
Once.
I get away quite a bit.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe.
I mean, I think the idea behind it is good. I think it's because sometimes you're waiting a long time to play Jason, and some people playing quicker games, you know, can
True.
help rotate the Jason action a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and not only that, I mean, you really, if you're making linear maps, then you're kind of going with the grain of Dead by Daylight. But the thing with Dead by Daylight was
Those maps are pretty big, though.
they're not as big as.
There's
Friday
a lot
the
more
13th.
obstacles, though.
Right, exactly. And there's a lot more things, like you can throw things in his way to stop the killer, and what was the other thing? I mean, obviously you don't die right away. You got to get put on the frickin' meat hook, and then you can literally pull yourself off the hook again. So it's not.
I've never been able to do that.
Oh yeah, you can literally.
I've hit the button, but it doesn't go anywhere.
No, you gotta. It's a series that you have to do. Alex showed me how to do it. It's you literally have
That's
to
one of the
go
reasons
through
I.
this-
It's one of the reasons I stopped playing it because I'm like, this is fucking lame.
No, you literally, it's a series.
I have to go home tonight and try that.
I'll find out what it is for the computer, but for the Xbox, I think it was like you had to go around in a circle. It's like a mechanics, like you had to literally pull yourself off this fucking hook.
I actually use an Xbox controller.
Oh, okay.
So
it's gotta be the same thing.
It's the same. It's Microsoft PC same.
But that being said, you don't make like he doesn't have a sense. The killer doesn't have a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like Jason does. I mean,
Michael Myers does. I think.
I was going to say some of them do, but some of them don't. You know what I'm saying? So there's those smaller maps are intricate because you really can get away from them. The thing with Friday the 13th is once Jason kind of has his sights on you.
Yeah, with Dead by Daylight, you can hide.
Right.
And Friday the 13th, you can hide with a perk.
Right.
Like if one of them has a perk, you can avoid.
And even then, right?
But
and even then,
it's random.
It's random, exactly. And sometimes you don't hide. So
All
it's
right.
like,
folks, eventually we're just going to stream the game.
Yeah.
Why not?
I told you that would
Once
be great.
again, and this Wednesday we're recording the new Speedway segment featuring Corey Huffnagel, which will go exclusively for now on the YouTube page. So if you want to check out some great racing news, knowledge, facts, factoids, and discussion, that's the place to do it. C and J
still going on.
Yeah, racing's still going on. It always goes on, except for December, January, and February, and then it starts up again.
So are we in the championship role yet?
Not yet. We're about 2 weeks away. However, even during the winter, there's silly season. We're going to talk about that as we go along, but this is the genesis of the next phase of the Loki and Jabroni show, much like the gaming. Stop rubbing yourself like that, Chris. It's weird. Let me just do it again. Never mind. That was a listener comment. Had to do it. What's with the turban? Lady J's walking in like...
She's enjoying those sodas I got her.
Oh, wow. Nice. Go ahead. So, Jim, if you're online and you're watching us now, this is La Beat Atibi Nomad Brewing Company out of...
They said yellow, and I call fucking bullshit.
Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
I almost call this an amber.
It looks amber. I'm going to go right out of the... Oh, hello.
Yeah, that's why
nice.
I put that shit in a glass.
I like it. We're going to try this. Courtesy,
I'm thinking positive.
Courtesy of Billy Fuller.
Hey, thank you, Billy. I'm thinking positive, eh?
All right. Oh, he said A and everything. All right, let's do this. Let's see how we think. Wow. Wait a minute. Go ahead. Talk to me. I'm going to cleanse my palate with this water.
It went right up my nose. The smell went right up my nose.
I haven't even smelled it yet.
It smells worse than it tastes.
The smell is a little weird.
It smells horrible. It smells like chip socks.
It smells like more BA cheese. Hold on. Here we go. Wait for it. See, Loki's already lost his mind. Not bad. If you can get past the smell,
I'm trying.
it's not bad.
I shouldn't have put it in a glass.
If you can get past the smell, the taste, and if you don't like beer, it's not bad.
I have a feeling. No offense to. I got others that we can try in the fridge that Billy brought us back from Canada. If this doesn't tickle your fancy, we got one more before top 10. We can throw down. Are you serious? That bad? Here, let me fill you up. Hold on. No?
God, no.
It tastes like a Guinness.
Don't try to put yours on me.
It tastes like a Guinness had sex with a Molson and had a child.
No, it tastes like they put this shit in a whiskey barrel.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, that port we had was in a whiskey barrel. It was good. Like, no, honestly, it tastes. The only way I can describe it is burnt.
I shouldn't.
It
Yeah,
tastes burnt.
I shouldn't have this face for only a 5.5 alcohol content.
All right,
is all I'm saying.
I don't think Bob and Doug McKenzie would be drinking this.
All right,
I don't think so.
Listen. There's 3 out of 6. We'll leave the other 3 in there. If anybody gets, I don't know, squirrely, they can drink them.
I heard when your IPA is nasty, you get like your beer free.
No.
Can I go get my beer free?
Let me grab the other ones. And if you don't like those, we're kind of fucked. But Billy, thank you for at least thinking. I'm enjoying it. I kind of like it.
We like trying stuff.
That's what I'm saying. You'll have
not knocking him. I'm just he didn't make it.
Not this week, no. But-
If he made it, he should be ashamed of himself.
Oh, the burps are worse.
Oh, my God. Jim says it's delicious.
No, it's
You've had this, Jim.
Jim, you're full of shit.
Talk to it. No, Jim has probably had beers that we've never heard
Jim's
of.
opinion is disqualified because he's probably following it up with delicious cheese.
I was going to say, yeah, you're pairing this with cheese, buddy. And if I could find
Is it beer, cheese,
if I
beer,
could
or
find a
cheese,
nice
beer,
brie
cheese?
to put this with.
Because he had a beer that I thought was nasty by itself, but once I ate it with the cheese, it was phenomenal.
Go to cheesebeerfood.com and find out everything that Jim thinks about these
Yes.
beers.
and download the episode.
Absolutely, which was 3 weeks ago?
Just subscribe, folks, and leave a
Yeah,
review.
seriously, leave a review. We got
Website's
two,
on the screen.
We got 2 new reviews in the last week on iTunes. It was fantastic. Thank you for the
Thank you.
5-star
Yes.
review. Found out we got a 1-star review. It doesn't show up. I'd love to know who gave us 1 star because I'd like to
I
go to their
wonder.
house and kick their ass.
I wonder.
Oh, gee. Probably some
How many people want to kick some ass?
bucktooth cunt with an axe to grind. But I'm going to go get the other beer now. Watch, here I go. See my
Okay.
chair sliding? My face is here, but my ass is over here. Go ahead.
I am also excited about real quick, and I'm going to do a gaming. I'm not gonna have game. Well, actually, with you, I could probably have some game footage. Very excited, and I'm gonna do a gaming clip for State of Decay 2.
I am so anxious. I am playing the fuck out of State of Decay 1 right now. I know. You know what's funny? Funny story about that. I bought that game off of Steam because I thought it was a multiplayer game, and it's a sandbox
It
game.
should be.
It
should
had.
be.
All right.
I think it was designed to be, and they just couldn't get it to work. But I'm loving the hell. I'm playing the fuck out of it right now, and I'm loving the hell out of it.
Have you ever lost one of your characters?
I've lost all but 2 at one point.
Did you cry the first time? Did you try to shut it off real quick? And you realize you couldn't?
You can't.
You can't.
You
It's done.
can't.
It's done.
And then it starts ripping
What's
you apart.
Done?
It saves.
It's done. It's done. I'm like, no!
You know, I
I've started that game over so many times.
That game, I gotta say, that was the first game besides the original Resident Evil that literally scared me. And I feared, not for me, I wasn't terrified for me. I was actually scared for the person I was playing. I was afraid to lose that character.
I don't know if they did it for the Xbox, but on Steam, they released like a Game of the Year high definition version of it.
Yes.
So I've been playing that one.
That's the one
It looks a
that's
lot
the one,
better and
yeah.
everything
Yep.
like that. It was funny. I was so attached to
you
the
get
first
all of
character
them.
you play. I was so attached to that guy, and I got him killed. And I'm like, no, I want him back. And I started playing somebody else. I'm like, this dude
All
has
right.
the same voice. Then you realize all the dudes have the same voice, and
Yes.
all the girls have the same voice.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
All right, real quick.
Holy crap.
Yeah, look out. We don't go small here at Loki and Jabroni. We go big. Jim just chimed in with I just had a 2014 Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout. It was so fucking good. 18 years ago, Jim and I bought a 6-pack of Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout, and it took us forever to choke it down because we were kind of new. I was very new. It took me like 4 weeks to choke down one bottle, and now I love it. But
I could totally do the Victor every time.
could you really?
Yeah, every time I smell this.
Do it.
Did you
Do
ever-
it.
I'm serious.
Do it now. I know. It tastes good. I'm enjoying this. I actually like it. I'm taking the other 3 home. I'm going to be that guy in Half Baked. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool, and fuck you. Okay, so these are,
Oh, God.
from what I understand, I did a little research. You can't get these in America very much. This is called Tuborg Bière Deluxe Gold from Denmark. So Billy brought these for us, so we're going to try it. Hello, Kevin Smith, not the one you people are thinking of. The one
It is the one we're thinking of.
Is it the one? It's the one
It is.
we are thinking of, not the one you're thinking of. So we're going to try Tuborg right here. I don't know. I've never seen this in the States.
Enjoyed since 1880.
You want to try it?
Enjoyed since 18, young and stupid. I'll buy it, Jim. Thank you. No, try this beer, Janelle. Try it. I'm enjoying it. I think it's actually pretty good. I'm taking the other 3 home. I don't care. La Bite Atibi.
That's exactly what it's doing to my stomach right now.
It's doing the La Bita TV. All right, I'm going to break open my Tuborg.
Smells pretty good.
All right. What is the nose coming off for you? What are you smelling right here?
Oh, that's not
Nice.
That's nice.
I'm going to do the same.
I'll do it.
Ooh, it's floral. There's something
Same
floral
amount of
about
alcohol content, by the way.
it. Is it
Copenhagen.
really? 5.5 from Copenhagen, Denmark. I just said. I've never seen this in the States. Here we go. Let's try it.
What is it, like a lager or something?
Oh, that's clean.
It's not bad. Creamy.
It is very creamy.
Nice finish.
I just got that.
It's a.
Yeah, you're looking like I did earlier. I'm like, how do I explain this beer? It's just fucking Tuborg.
It's like Colt 45 from Canada.
Oh, don't
with cream.
Don't get
With
this
cream.
guy started on Colt 45. We'll
Hey,
have that thing again.
Tuborg, eh?
Thank you for calling Colt 45.
Tuborg, eh? Works every
Unfortunately,
It works every time,
we're not
don't you
open
know?
right now. But if you want to come see us, make sure you go grab yourself a nice Tuborg 45.
Yeah, this is actually good. I like both of these beers. I'm taking the other three La
Grab
Bita
Tuborg
TV homes.
Gold
Thank you,
for
Billy.
your feel.
Thank you for
very
thinking
much,
of
Billy.
us.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
bro.
Thank you.
I like that a lot better.
We
All right.
love it.
Let's raise a Tuborg. I'll leave the fourth. It came in a 4-pack. I'll leave the fourth Tuborg here. You guys can fight over who wants it.
It's an attractive can.
It is.
We get about 3 to 6 minutes before we get into the top 10. What was the one thing you took away from Charlie that you're going to walk away with for the rest of your life?
I got to say that the part when he was like,
He was burping?
and then he was like,
Hot shit.
no, the part pretty much where he broke it down. He was like, look, people are gonna think what they think, regardless. You do you, and what you come through with it is what you end up having.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's funny because, obviously, everybody goes through a turning point in their lives at some point.
Fuck
when they
you, man,
realize-
Mannheim. I want an epiphany too, you rat bastard. I brought him here, and we loved him, and fucking Matt Mannheim. Fuck him. Fuck him. I love you, kid. Always have.
Okay.
He's drinking my favorite IPA of all time.
Oh, well. Sorry, Matt.
He's watching us, though, so that's a good thing.
Like I said, I will say this. Everybody goes through a point in their lives when, they question themselves, when they question what they do, they question everything around them. And how you come about, when you do come out, you're vulnerable, you're very weak, you don't have that shell formed yet. You're, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a lobster come out of its shell.
Only when I eat it.
I mean, but if you've
Mystic
ever
Aquarium.
right, exactly. They are literally like you can literally slap them. They're rubber. They're rubber. Their shell does not. Yeah, they don't have that exoskeleton yet. It doesn't harden yet.
Right.
And it's the same thing when you come out of a situation like that. You're very vulnerable. You're very vulnerable to the world, and to have somebody like that, you think exactly like he was thinking. You're gonna either be, you're gonna take the world and you're gonna let them fucking twist you and form your shell, or you're gonna be like, no, this is how I am, this is how I want to be, and you form your shell.
Right. I'll never push the issue ever with Charlie because now he's comfortable. He's going to come back. We're going to do this again. I don't want to push the issue between Joey Belladonna and John Bush as vocalists for Anthrax. He knows my opinion. John Bush, to me, was up here. Joey is great. Don't get me wrong.
But I mean,
Joey's
I think
the
you
sound.
also heard Joey is what they've envisioned
Right.
as the sound of Anthrax.
But what I also heard in that interview was he liked John's aggression. He liked where they went. Those 4 albums. He said,
Yeah. Out of the 2, he said his favorites were
Sound of White Noise, and We've Come for You All.
Yeah.
2 John Bush albums. We have completely thrown the Anthrax world into disarray. However, don't play one against the other. This isn't the Van Halen world. I know that in the Van Halen world, you're either Roth or you're Hagar. If you like Sammy Hagar, then fuck you. Well, if you like David Lee Roth, then fuck you. No. Why don't we like the band that is playing the music? Doesn't matter who's singing. Motley Crue, same thing. They had a problem when Vince
I'll
Neil was
solve
fired. You have a problem? He'll
I'll
solve
solve
it.
it.
Check out the hook while DJ Ed revolves it. Motley Crue had the same problem. The Motley Crue album with John Corabi was tight, was fan-fucking-tastic. Problem wasn't Vince Neil. People lost their whole. Was he being politically correct in not playing sides? Maybe. But if you go back to the interviews and you do the research, and I know a lot of you guys have, you'll know that Charlie always liked the organic voice of John Bush, but there's something about Joey Belladonna that is the sound of Anthrax. I'm not going to... Look, I've seen as many Joey Anthrax shows as I've seen John Bush Anthrax shows. It's still Anthrax. I don't give a shit who's up there singing. It could be Eddie singing for Anthrax. I'm going to go see it. Why? Because it's Anthrax. It's a name that I know and love. And that's that. If you don't like it, don't go again.
And if you don't know, now you know, cracker.
And now, the most famous words in Loki and Jabroni history. Roll that beautiful bean footage, my friend. Why don't you kiss my dick?
123 shows and he still doesn't know how to use his fucking phone.
Whose phone went off the most?
I love it. Actually, if we go back through time,
It was usually you.
it was usually you. Yeah. Once again,
Still probably Eddie.
Trying to get everybody to buy beer, but it usually ends up being
once
you.
again, I owe you a beer. I'm sorry. Was your famous words during our?
How much beer have I provided you guys with?
If that hard drive hadn't broke, I'd do a clip.
Yeah,
after clip
well,
after
you'd
clip.
be wrong because you'd manipulate it because you're a fucking genius on the computer.
No.
Hashtag
no.
kiss my dick. And now the top 10.
All right. So Conor McGregor is now the highest
dear
paid
God.
MMA fighter ever.
Oh, my God.
So he could do anything now. He doesn't have to be an MMA fighter.
Or is he?
How much
highest paid boxer?
do you know how much he made?
Yeah, like $30 million off that fight.
$32 million.
Yeah, $32 million. My bad. I was off by two.
No,
Oh,
I'm
shit.
not. I'm not
Give me
pissing on
that
you.
$2 million. Let me see what I can do with it.
I'm not pissing on you. I'm just saying.
Fucking payday Nazi.
Right? One day's work. Not even one day.
Name one MMA fighter that's made that in one fight. Yeah, we can't.
Nope.
No, you can't. You can't. He is the
Maybe
highest.
Joe Rogan
he
just
is
for being there.
Right?
Yeah, right. He's the highest paid MMA fighter
Thank you, Billy, for that.
ever. So now that he doesn't have to put his body at risk anymore, people. Like I know he likes to fight. He likes to do it. However, Conor, let me help you out, dude. These are the new jobs that you can have. These are top 10 new things that you can do, complete with your notorious title. I gave you a title for every one of these jobs, buddy.
Oh, dear God in heaven.
Number 10. You could be Conor the lawyer, the sutorious one.
Oh, Christ.
You could be Conor the hairdresser, number 9, the butorious one.
Ooh.
How about number 8, Conor the bartender, the portorious one.
Say again?
The portorious one.
Oh, Porto. All right.
You're feeling it now.
I'm
You're
buying
feeling
it. I'm buying it.
You
I'm
order
buying
too
it.
many bottles. You need to pour more.
Yeah.
Number 7, Conor the point guard. You could be the scoretorious one.
Oh, like Scottie Pippen.
Yes, you could.
Without-
you could.
I'm noticing a pattern here.
You
Number
think?
6, you could be Conor the toy maker, the toy-torious one.
Ooh.
You could totally do it. You could be Conor, number 5, Conor the male escort, the boy-torious one.
Ooh.
You could. You could do it, Conor. Number 4, you could be Conor the lifeguard, the float-torious one. Saving people's lives, man.
Fantastic.
Number 3, you could be Conor the mortician, the mortorious one.
Ooh.
You could be Conor the OBGYN doctor.
Wait. What number?
Number 2.
Okay.
Number 2, the clitorious one.
The opinions expressed by Loki are not shared Well, actually, they are shared by the rest of us.
And number 1, you could be Connor, the cop assault survivor, the Sortorious one.
Nice. Fantastic. With that, cripes, what a long 4 weeks. The summer of fun has come to a close. What a great run. Fan-fucking-tastic.
I had a blast.
We've done some great stuff. We had cheese beer food with Jim Lallemere the first week.
We're getting ready to go back to that in 2 weeks with a bomb-ass cheese and meat platter from Ange and Jim together. And then we are going to mix fantastic tacos and nacho platter.
Don't forget, September 10th at the Eastfield Mall in Springfield, Massachusetts. We are there live for the Brawl at the Mall cards and comic show. And in the ring, there's going to be some great wrestling going on. We are going to have, and we've already been confirmed to have, not only Tugboat / Typhoon / Shockmaster / whatever gimmick he had at the time.
The many faces.
Fred Ottman.
Oh, Fred Ottman.
Fred Ottman's going to be there. And we're also going to have the total package Lex Luger.
Yes, we
which
will.
A lot of people, Lex fell on hard times. It's really disappointing, but his mind still works, his mouth still works, and he's going to give us some of his time, and we're going to talk a lot about what he did.
I got a lot with Lex, man. I tell you what, Total Package at the time when he was in WCW during the NWO phase was probably one of my favorite wrestlers during that phase. I liked what he stood for. And I'm sorry, there was nothing more iconic than Lex Luger against Yokozuna on that
on the boat,
on the airship, the USS Enterprise.
For me,
that was iconic, dude. That was the first time he really wore the Stars and Stripes.
Yeah,
rolled out there, was known as a narcissist back then.
When he turned on Barry Windham in 1988, I just kind of hated Lex Luger, and I carried it for a long time. But when you look again, like Bob Orton, when we're sitting in the bar with Bob Orton 2 nights ago, I look back at Lex Luger in the last few weeks since we knew we were booked on this show, and I watch his body of work. He really was. He was really great.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to take, 15-year-old Chris out of the equation, and I have to put 44-year-old Chris into the equation. Lex Luger was fantastic.
He was a worker, dude.
And I'm looking forward to talking to Lex.
And I'll tell you what, you think back and you think of all the shit that he did, and I bet you if we ask him those questions, a lot of it's going to be, they came to me and said, hey, look, Lex, we need to make this work. We need you.
We need you to turn on Barry Windham. We need you to slam Yokozuna. Right. We need you to join the NWO.
We need you. There's going to be a lot of those stories.
No doubt in my mind. All
right, guys. Thank you all very much. Once again, make sure you go to that Patreon site and make sure you donate. Become a donor in the next 2 weeks.
Do we have a Patreon this week? Because we haven't done Patreon only in
that's up to Ed
6 weeks. Ed, Ed's on a time constraint.
We can do a half hour.
All right, we're gonna go half hour on the Patreon.
Closing up early, so
yeah, we're gonna go half hour on the Patreon, and we'll see you there, I guess.
Guys,
thank you so much, Charlie Benante.
Make sure you take care of them affiliate links.
Where's the head? Show them the head.
Right over there by you.
This could be yours once we figure out how we can get you this autographed Al Snow styrofoam head.
And head.
Yeah, signed by Head, signed by Al Snow, signed by Loki, signed by Jabroni, signed by Cowboy Bob Orton, LokiandJabroni.com. Do you want this? We're going to figure out how to get this to you. It's not going to be in the bucket of gimmicks, motherfucker.
Safely.
Double cheese. Sorry.
Double bucket.
Motherfucker.
So, guys, make sure you visit that website. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you like us on YouTube. That is one of the bigger things. Subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube, because at any time a new video comes out, boom, instant download. No muss, no fuss, no thoughts about it. It instantly happens. You're sitting there walking, and all of a sudden it goes,
da-ding!
New Loki and Jabroni content. And that is everything. That's everything from his new thing coming out for the NASCAR.
Absolutely.
That is everything from my video games blogs getting ready to get re-upped and revamped again. Anything from the show and anything that this man decides to just throw out there. As soon as it gets loaded up,
it's coming.
Bing! It
We-
pops right up on your little phone. And
We
you're gonna
are
love it.
expanding.
We're going to love it. You're going to love it. We're going to love it. Patreon donors, we'll be right back. If you aren't a Patreon donor, hurry up. Do it now. And you can join the show,
www.patreon.com.
and you can be a part of this in
/Loki and Jabroni.
2 weeks.
Thank you, Ed.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
What movie was that from?
Total Recall.
Thank you.
You're welcome.